Well, Stephen, Wynn, thank you so much for letting me come to this new construction site. So, Stephen, you are the energy guy, right?
Yes.
And that's why I wanted you here with Wynn, because if there's anything you're saying that I don't understand, I want Wynn to kind of tell me what it thinks.
All right.
Okay? All right, so Brightwater Homes has this brand new development in the middle of Roswell. I mean, Canton Street's right down here.
It's right there.
The mill's across the street. But this is not just new neighborhood, which I've got questions about what buyers come and do they think it's new neighborhood or they have wowed by the net zero. We're here mainly because it's a net zero property.
That's right.
And I love to talk about net zero because nobody knows what it is.
Right.
So I'm asking you right up, like, what's net zero mean?
Sure. And so much of our excitement is to be able to educate around that. The building industry, the home buyer, just community. So net zero energy is a home that is built very high efficiency, so it's using less energy, and then we're generating enough through solar power, through solar arrays in this community specifically, to offset the energy that's needed for the home. So when you look at overall energy usage, it's net zero. So energy used, energy generated, it equals out.
So, and you had said like 2025, y'all have a plan to not build anything other than a net zero house.
That's right.
Past 2025. This property was just like right for timing, I guess, and it happened to be in Roswell to start this. And I think you're halfway done. Everybody, you're halfway sold out.
Almost halfway sold.
Yeah, that's right. Good job.
Yeah, quick.
Okay, so when you say energy efficiency, quality, I mean, I love thinking about, because we all know houses, but they can be so much better. Like, I didn't realize until we were talking that, you know, a house can be built, but it's just the minimum standard. They're hitting minimum standards.
That's right.
They can be built better. Like, how do you build it better? How is this house built better?
Sure. So, your largest energy usage is your HVAC, so heating and cooling, especially in the South. We have extreme temperatures, a lot of hot, a lot of humidity, and so there's a lot of temperature swings and moisture that you have to control. So biggest part is the shell, the envelope of the home. So we use advanced framing, we use advanced insulation to increase the separation from outdoor unconditioned air to our indoor conditioned space. So one, that's providing us with a controlled environment. And then second, the equipment that we're using, the systems that we're using are high efficiency Linux systems that are going to be able to, it's a variable speed, so they're going to be able to run more efficiently to control the humidity inside the home and control the temperature using less energy, which then means we need fewer solar panels to power them.
And you were showing me the walls. So,
Right.
so what's the staggered, what do you call it?
Staggered stud walls.
Okay.
So, in layman's terms, when I have people that come in and ask, what are you doing? So we do the open spray foam cell insulation in the entire attic envelope and the exterior walls. And then back to your point of the staggered studs. Okay. So one stud's up against the outside, the next one's staggered. The next one's back, the next one's
So
forward.
the studs are still up like this, but
there's
one's in
vertical
front.
studs,
That's right.
Okay.
That's
So that you're not having that heat transfer through the wood, you're having that separation.
That's right.
Because that's thermal barrier.
Thermal bridging, you're
bridging
minimizing thermal bridging.
Wow,
That's right.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you show people that and so when buyers come in here, do they come here because like, oh, there's some new construction? Or do they know what they're coming to when they're coming in here?
We do a really good job of advertising our net zero energy efforts, but what I like to do is not take them just through the shiny, model home or the tile. I like to take them through a house that actually has the insulation, and I can show them, here's the staggered stud walls, here are our solar panels, here's our tankless water heater, here's our 18 SEER furnace. I can actually show them the nuts and bolts, so it's nice to have different levels of stages of construction here.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And so I was like, man, it's kind of like when my Tesla. Like, I love, like, it's a guilt-free experience.
Yeah.
You were talking about the experience,
right.
and I'm thinking, yeah, my Tesla's an experience. So I love my Tesla. Tells me where I'm going. It beeps at me when I'm too close. But I plug it in, and I feel no guilt because I'm not like, running my gas.
Right.
And then you were like, well, imagine if you didn't even have to pay to plug it in.
Right. Because where's the energy coming from that you're powering it with? That still gas could be burning somewhere else. So this is actually taken to the next level where we're gathering energy from the sun that's free and essentially limitless to then power these homes.
So I've walked up and down the street with you. Where are the solar panels? You can't even see.
We don't put them on until the very end.
Okay, are they on the front?
We try to keep them off the front.
Right.
So just for the
Aesthetics.
streetscape and aesthetics. Yeah, we usually put them on the back.
Yeah, but it depends on orientation. So I mean,
Yeah.
your maximum generation is going to be on south facing.
Right.
So depending on where the home is in the neighborhood, some of the panels will be more visible than others. But we look at orientation and then we look at aesthetic with streetscape. So when we get all said and done, you'll be able to see some more than others. But we do try to keep them off the front of the homes.
So what I think is so cool about your process, what I've learned, is that y'all have, you call it an energy designer, but you also have like an interior curated designer
Right.
that talks about the interior design. So,
Right.
because apparently the energy affects your interior design, which I never thought about. So what is so unique about what is curated interior
Curated
design?
design is where the buyer will meet with an interior designer, and instead of just going into a showroom and looking at tiles and here's your standard features, they find out what the buyer likes. They go back with a team of designers and curate a package solely for that buyer. So they do a first pass, and generally they're like 90% there. So there's no buyer fatigue in that process, because a lot of buyers come back after they have their house and start seeing tile or cabinets installed. They're like, I don't remember picking that out. Oh, I don't like how that looks. So
Or does
now-
this even go with this?
Right, so
I need some help.
It's
like I'm not the
encompassing
designer.
flow.
Right.
So out here, they'll look at the exterior of the house. So some of our houses might have a different architecture than the others, and they'll say, okay, this is timeless elegance, or this is modern sophistication. So they'll kind of tie in the exteriors with the interiors. So it's just a unique experience.
Well, and that's so different from new construction where you're like, this is the X plan and this
Right.
is the
That's
N plan.
Right.
That's
right.
Everybody's house is so unique. It's
Yes.
not like, I remember I could have picked that. You know? I
Yep.
Super
love
cool.
that. And you say that they love that process.
They do, and we don't, as from a sales perspective, I don't throw them floor plans. I just have a conversation.
And they can bring their own designer,
Right,
obviously.
exactly, they
which
can,
people
yeah.
will do. Speaking of design,
Yes.
so the floor plan of the house, you mentioned a frog.
Yes.
What's the frog?
What is the frog? It is called a finished room over garage.
Okay.
So now with a lot of people working from home, families living together, instead of just having that traditional study off the front foyer or the dining room study, we found that having a separate dedicated space away from the primary function of the house, a room over the garage that's separate, could be an in-law suite, it could be work from home, it could be a media room. It could suffice as people want a basement. What do you want a basement for? It's not always just a
So I
finish
can
the
get
whole-
away
yeah.
from the noise.
Right, you could put a Murphy's bed in there, you can do.
And so the guts of like a normal, the guts of the house are in the basement. So all that stuff is up there, or is it in the garage? Where?
So when we do that, it's usually independent systems. So we'll do a secondary HVAC, we'll do a secondary water heater. It'll have its kind of own independent systems because usually it is separated somewhat from the house itself.
Okay. And there's the scullery, which is right behind
Right,
us.
yes.
When you said scullery, I was like, this is what people want. So why do you put sculleries in the houses? They're all unique, but this one's
Yeah,
right there.
again, with everyone home now and different, you're cooking more, you're eating out, but you're bringing things home, you want to reheat, entertaining's big.
The kids are making smoothies. I remember
Yeah,
you
exactly.
saying
And, yeah, instead
The
of
kids
just
are making smoothies.
Right. Instead of just calling it a pantry, if you can put appliances back there, we call it a scullery. So sometimes we'll do under-counter beverage centers. We'll do extra fridges. We'll do the microwave drawers. We may do a dishwasher and a sink, depending on the needs of the family. And they're usually bigger than a normal pantry. So we find that a huge function.
I like
for our
to
family.
think of it as that's where the mess is, and you
Yeah.
can close
That's
the
right.
door
Well, it's also
and have
fancy.
your pretty kitchen.
It sounds good too. The
Yeah.
name's scullery.
Yeah.
It elevates
It's
the pantry.
It's awesome. So, Stephen, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned a lot about the air sealing. What,
Yes.
Air sealing. What is an
Air
air sealing? And then the healthy air and everything about it.
Sure. So that goes back to the envelope. So when you talk about separating outside unconditioned air from the inside, part of that is the air sealing package. So code minimum is to do, caulking some areas to seal out penetrations where your mechanicals may go through the walls, but we're going over and above. We're using liquid flash. We use the zip system on the outside, so we have zip taping. We do additional caulking on all of our plates and our joints on the interior.
And that's so air can't get inside?
And that's really, so that's limiting air and moisture from transferring from the
Moisture.
outside. So we really want to control what's inside. So we have makeup air dampers that are bringing in intentionally the air that we need so that it's keeping our homes the humidity and the temperature correct, but also the quality of the air. So it's getting turned over but controlled. It's not just leaking through with dust and contaminants. We're bringing it in, it's getting pre-filtered, it's going to the home. So it's providing a better feel, but also a healthier home because it's cleaner air and it's gonna just be a better living space for all of our home buyers.
So you said that there's an app. People can use an app and just turn on stuff. Oh, how awesome is that?
That is for solar panels.
Yeah, well, it's across the board. And
Yeah,
we do
air conditioning and check on
Yeah.
temperature and change everything. I love that.
Yeah.
So could somebody retrofit their house? Like, I don't have a net zero house, but I sure would like something where I don't have any bills to pay other than water. Is there anything other than water?
Well, there's gas. There's gas.
If you have gas.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. And we have not gone 100% electric yet, but we're over-generating electricity to offset the gas needs that are there. So still, the overall energy across the board is offset. But as far as the retrofit goes, unless you tear into the walls, you're not going to be able to get the air sealing measures there, but you could do energy modeling for the needs of your current system, and you could either upgrade the systems that are there or add solar panels to offset the energy that you need. So you could always put as many solar panels as you want, 100 solar panels to cover a huge amount of generation, but it's better to do the systems first. Put in higher quality equipment, and then it minimizes the solar panels you need.
You might as well sell the house and just build one.
That's right.
Oh, well, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I can't wait to share this.
Yes.
So then I don't have to explain it all over because you guys do it better than anybody. So
Thank
thanks
you.
so much.
Thanks for coming.
Good luck.
Great to see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to move in.
Come on.
Thank you.
Don't miss another video visit. Click to subscribe and have Behind the Curtain virtually delivered from our doorstep to yours.